A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, you know, those government entities that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you went and elected, and in the near future might have a chance to do that again. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And the result could be a taxing situation and a brutal surprise in the mail.
It could be, very easily. And you know what? There's humor in every meeting. You ever notice that?
That's right.
It bubbles to the top or sinks to the bottom.
I prefer the stop.
Yeah, I know, that'll work too. But the other thing that we do here, we have the abbreviated version of what the meeting is. So if you want to sit into the meeting and for what, hours? Days? Weeks?
No, well. But in any case, if you do want to see the meeting in its entirety, and we do not edit anything, go to occtv.org, click on programs, and everything will be in reverse date order. Reverse date order.
An order. Let there be order.
And we also have a drop-down menu if you really want to tunnel down to Oxford Township or Addison Township or anything else that you might see there, and that will limit your search.
When they drop down, does that make that kaboom sound that they used to? Do we have that?
More
Did
of
we
a
take
clunk.
that away?
More of a clunk.
A clunker, okay. So if you want to go to the clunker, it's available. It's in there.
Just depends how you have your sound set up on your PC.
That's true. Okay, then let's get on with the meeting, shall we?
We shall.
All right, first meeting we're going to cover is the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, which is held on January 8th. The next one is Oxford Village Council, the village. Aha, and that's interesting
Got the
always.
two biggies.
The two biggies, right. Well, supervisor of the township for Oxford Township is Bill Dunn. He serves as the controller of this particular crazy group that's on. Curtis Wright is the clerk. Joe Ferrari takes care of the money portion of it. He's the treasurer. And Jack Curtis serves as a trustee. By the way, Jack Curtis is running for township supervisor in the election coming up. One of the elections. There's three of them going on.
Which one? What will be the time that he'll be
in November?
In November.
Yep, he'll be on that ballot.
Is that the presidential?
That's a presidential.
Yikes.
Yep. So lots of things to vote for in November, folks. And lots of line items. But first thing you folks have to do, of course, is on March 10th, go to the polls and determine which you're going to be Democrat or Republican Party. So you have to choose that, and then there's one coming up after that, special election, I think, and then the November whoop-de-doo, that one will be coming down the line.
You said Republican or Democrat Party. You meant
Got to
you
pick a
have to
party.
identify which one you're going to be and
Yeah.
which candidates you would
Yeah,
prefer
you want
to
to
vote
select
for
the candidates because there's about
within
200
those
of them.
parties. Right.
So you have to whittle it down a bit. You folks are the whittlers, and so you'll determine, you know,
You're
who's going to
responsible for
run.
making a short ballot.
Yes, you're responsible. And if you have a long ballot, guess whose fault that is? Yes, right? Okay. Bill Dunn, I mentioned, was supervisor. We got down to Jack Curtis, who's the trustee. Margaret Payne serves as a trustee on this board as well. Patty Durr is on the board and actually sits next to me because I'm on that board as well.
Well,
Well.
that makes it complete, doesn't it?
It makes it pretty well complete. Yes. Gary Winthrop, the Oxford Township attorney, was there, and then we'll talk about that as we go along.
Attorney?
Yes. He's the attorney.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. You're going to argue that one. Huh?
No, I wasn't. I was just sorting things out.
You thought he was just visiting, huh? Brought his lunch, set it down.
Card got out of order in my Rolodex.
Okay. that can happen occasionally. Rolodex. I don't know, most of you folks probably don't know what a Rolodex is out there if you were born in the 1980s.
You have to pronounce it first.
Yeah, it kind of flutters around and then comes back. It's kind of like a wheel, right?
Yeah, that's right. Kind of like a contact list in your computer.
Right. Well, Kelly Richter, who's with the township, she was the recording secretary for that evening. Does a great job, Kelly does. And we'll see more of her because she does a lot of this recording, various meetings. They did the pledge. The agenda was covered for January 8th, approved. And consent agenda was approved. Look how quick we're going through this one, huh?
That's a setup.
How did you know? Okay. It is kind of a setup. A public comments area, not on the agenda. Paul Young from Brighton, Michigan, stood up, and he is running for office for the 8th district, and I believe he's running against Schlotkin.
Slotkin.
Schlotkin.
Slotkin.
Schlotkin.
Not Schlot, Slot.
Schlotkin. Okay, that person he's running against. Did you get that one?
Yes.
Okay.
The incumbent.
Yeah, right. So anyway, he wanted people to know who he was, of course. And by the way, a little background, I guess he was with the Trump administration for a period of time before he decided to run here in the state of
So he's a
Michigan.
Democrat.
He would be a strong Republican, a very weak Democrat. Did I describe that one for you? Pretty much.
Well, that shades it.
Yeah, but you folks will see him on the ballot on March 10th, okay? So check it out along with the rest of the crew, depending if which party you're with. And you're going to select the people that are going to run in November. So keep that in mind if you want to attend that election coming up in November or in March. And because certainly the one in March or November. Did I get mixed up? Yes, I did. You're supposed to keep me straight
confused,
here.
but I'm always confused. What the heck?
Well, that is my my thing in life, is to keep him totally confused if it's possible. How am I doing?
You're stirring the pot.
Okay. And Rosemary Bear, who is a state senator, was there that evening, and from the 12th district, which also covers this area. And she talked about being a previous resident of this area, actually living in Oxford Township.
She's currently elected?
She's currently elected, and she has an administrative staff, of course, that works with her. She gave let me see, what did she do? Okay. She gave a phone number where she could be contacted, because she's very interested in knowing, if there's areas that you need her to chase after and make some legislation that, that'll assist this community. So, very interesting person. You can see more by going to occtv.org and clicking on
Programs.
Yep, and checking it out.
More specifically, then you'll drop down menu, Oxford Township.
Yep, and you'll see the whole detail of the meeting presentation that she had. It's always nice to have these representatives, give their presentations before the township. We know exactly what the direction they're headed.
That's true.
Yep.
That's nothing to do with the election coming up.
No, nothing to do with the election. How did I miss that one? Right. Pretty sure. Okay. Let me see. She's worked on the appropriation for roads, which is a good thing in this area. We need help with certain areas. Township is creating a good rapport with the Oakland County Road Commission. Actually, other communities have established already a pretty good rapport. So they raise their hand and say, hey, we need money for this road. Hey, okay, here it comes. By the bushful or the shovelful. In Oxford, they say, hey, we need road money. They
What's
say,
that it was
who?
that easy?
They want to look at it and say, Oxford who? So we want to let them know who Oxford is.
Oh, I forgot my wallet.
Right. But they've been a little more generous than last year, too. So, and I think that was with Bill Dunn, who sat down with his pitchfork and shovel and his fire next to their door. So anyway, Bill Dunn has done a pretty good job out there. And I want to say, actually, the elected officials that you have here in Oxford Township, they're all doing a good job. I want to mention Curtis Wright, who's so detailed. I think he has the very first pebble that he found when he was a little kid and thought it was cute and saved it. But
And not a jot or a tittle shall go missing.
no, and he's an individual that if he does a document, that document better be perfect. Commas in the right place, everything, question marks where necessary. You have a question mark?
He's a good guy.
He's a very good guy. And I appreciate his work, and he serves on several committees too. He's actually the chairman of the Pollyant Trail. And if you have not enjoyed the Pollyant Trail, you might on a sunny day, that may be coming someday, we get over the winter, and take a walk around the Pollyant Trail.
Oh, you got your long johns on. You can do it now.
Yeah, you can do it now if you want to, but dress for it in case you get lost, because it's a big trail, right?
Usually end up somewhere.
Somewhere you will. Just give out a blood-curdling cry. Nobody will hear you except the bears.
What cares?
Yeah, they hide behind every tree. So that would be a rumor. And by the way, the person that makes most of the rumors could be this guy, not me. So it would be very,
Even
very
though he just
unique.
did.
Yeah. It'd be very unique, but here's one that I'm going to try to get away with.
Evidence
Bears,
notwithstanding.
porcupines, skunks. Watch out for those out there on the trail. For sure. If you're not able to run fast, bring somebody who's really, really slow running with you, all right? That's the way to do it. Okay, so they did first reading on a zoning ordinance, which is 67A22, which doesn't really mean a lot to you folks in section 3.5, which is light industrial. And they wanted to just make a change to the ordinance itself as far as they wanted to add auto service stations to their list. And if you're interested in information as far as being an auto service station, that would be the place to go.
That's right. They have a lot of information there just on the counter at the township.
Right. Now, one thing that the representative from the state of Michigan said is that speed limits that they have on gravel roads, she says...
By default, it's 55.
Yeah, but she said, did you ever travel down one end of Ray Road doing 55 miles an hour downhill? Not a good idea. So
Well-
she's very active in trying to get speed limits changed on these gravel roads.
Unless you're nuts, sometimes common sense is the best
that's
speed
right.
limit judger.
Yeah, you get the key to your wife and let her drive it and close your eyes. Yes. Been there, done that, huh?
I mean, you know, you just have to use your best judgment.
Yeah, and, and gravel, it has a tendency to slide down with you when you try to stop.
You kind of drift.
Yes, you do. There's a tree, there's whatever. But anyway, be careful when you're driving travel roads, but do know that your state representatives are trying to change that speed limit regulation that's
To
required
what?
in the state of Michigan. Something slower. They said lots slower than 55 miles an hour. Right now, that's the standard. And so, too high a standard, you know, for what you're dealing with. And she has enough backup, I think, in terms of the Senate is concerned, that you will probably more than likely see a change.
But can local communities change that for their roads?
No, they can't. They're under state regulation for that, for gravel roads. And actually, Addison Township, their board has filed a complaint with the Michigan State Police and with the state, also the Senate and House of Representatives, that that should be changed. So they're experiencing lots of accidents because people, like I said, don't always use common sense and speed. Even though they know they can go 55 miles an hour, they better know that 55 miles an hour on a slope like this on gravel is not going to work for them, right?
And once those potholes set in, that takes care of itself.
Yeah, well, you'll come to an instant stop. Better than dropping an anchor behind. But anyway, there's going to be some changes there, I think, in terms of regulation and speed situations for these gravel roads.
Yeah.
And with that, let's talk about more when we come back right after this, folks. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we are talking about what went on with the Township Board of Trustees meeting. And right after the first segment, we talked about the zoning ordinances that they had to make some changes to. And there were about 3 different zoning ordinances. And like I said, if you want to see more about that, it's rather boring. It would be in the OCCTV.org website. Okay. Fire Department report by Pete Schultz. He said that there were 2,107 calls made in 2019, which is 59
I thought you were
calls
going to
up.
say 2020 there for a second.
No, 2019. I got you there, didn't I? Okay.
So, whoa.
Right, 59 more calls, than the previous year.
Wow.
So that's really good. I mean, they're really doing a good job. They always have. Fire chief is well presented. His fire department. Well-trained people. Sharp Engineering was the next issue that came up. Normally, Jim Sharp gives a report on engineering activity that's going within the village and township. This time he said, "Oh, got none right now." But he said, "Just wait, it's coming down the road."
You haven't been in downtown Oxford lately, have you?
Right. Well, actually, that is part of the DDA information that you folks can get out there. if you want to know exactly what's going on, you can either contact the website for the Village of Oxford, or you can go to the DDA in the Village of Oxford, and you'll find most all of the information on the changes that you're going to be impacted on out there on their website. So check it out. It's a brand new website.
And also there's a meeting, I don't know if it's going to be at the library or at the village, where they're going to update everybody on all the goings-on about traffic and
Right.
MDOT and God knows what else.
That's going to be at the library.
At the
So,
library?
yeah, so you folks can watch out, and it'll be posted also. I believe there should be something in the Leader newspaper as well. So, but do check it out. Check out the new websites that are out there with the information concerning the changes going on with M24, how it's going to impact you. For example, there's a map out there now that shows where all the stop signs are going to be, where the detour areas are going to be. All of that information is out on the website on DDA, Downtown Development Authority. And speaking of the Downtown Development Authority, I want to just mention the meeting that I attended recently. They have a promotional program in place, in which it's going to be kind of like the Wizard of Oz promotion, and there's lots of other things going on. And again, you'll find that as far as promotions for you folks downtown that are business owners, again, on the Downtown Development Authority website. Check it out.
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz. Dorothy, click your heels, and here you are in Oxford.
Well, it ain't Kansas anymore.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Okay, but do check it out. That's where you're going to find all factual information. Facebook doesn't provide legitimate information many, many times. So you will find the reality out there on the website. Okay? Now, unfinished business. Approval of the letter from Oakland County concerning the, the property where they had the
thing?
that thing. Soil that was...
Oh, the old Oakland County Sportsman's Congress.
Yeah, so the Sportsman's place. That was...
On Oakwood Road.
On Oakwood Road. Well, guess what? They found contaminated lead within the soil. So in order to get that out of there...
Contaminated lead?
Contaminated soil due to lead.
You mean there's good lead and bad lead?
Yeah, this is bad lead. They have to get rid of the bad lead, folks. It's got to go. And anyway, so there's a grant that the ownership has applied for, and the only problem with that is that the township would have to sponsor it as an administrator.
What is the name of the outfit that wants to move into that area?
Into it, it's Providence.
Providence.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And it's a...
Something like Crossroads for Youth.
Yeah, very much like it, I think. But they do good service, to these kids.
Sure.
Kids that are from broken homes, that kind of thing. So anyway...
Is there still resistance to it?
Right. Well, here's the thing. The township does not want to accumulate responsibility financially for anything that might go wrong in taking the soil out. Excuse me, the contamination. And if you're the administrator, you have to oversee everything. The people that come in and do it, make sure they're doing it right. And you got to get all the affidavits, for clearing it, make sure everything is signed properly.
Is there a state inspection involved?
Oh, yes, there would be. Okay. So anyway, what's happened is a lot of conversation between the township and the property owners of Providence we've said, no, we don't want to do it. We're not going to you folks don't need to bear the financial responsibility for this. It wasn't your fault. They purchased the property knowing that. So they went to Oakland County, and Oakland County has agreed to handle the administration for it.
How much is it going to cost?
Take the responsibility away from us. Over $2 million.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. But that's where the grant comes in.
I could buy a few
And
burgers.
they can get this grant if it's sponsored, by an entity such as Oakland County. What's interesting here is the state dictated the fact that this operation was going to go in there. The township had no control over it. But now that they've discovered, yes, it has got contamination, the state says, oh, yeah, right, we're all done with it.
So that would really apply to most shooting ranges, wouldn't it?
It would be. So that is something that if you folks want to buy an old shooting range, there could be contamination, probably is out there. And they denied that case here for a number of months.
Or recoverable lead.
Yep. Recoverable lead. Yeah, find it in trees and everything else. No ducks. I mean, they're all gone.
Well,
But
it depends
anyway,
how good a shot they were.
yeah, right. Yeah, they could, that's why it's in the trees, see? But anyway, that was approved. That letter was approved. It was written up by a local attorney, and that would be Gary Winthrop put this together.
Okay.
And their attorney was there as well, representing the property owner. And at one time there was a controversy going on if this was going to be approved or not. He pointed out that if it's not approved, the grant's not going to go through. It will default back to the township, and you folks in the township will be sued in some way or another.
By whom?
You would end up paying it from the people that own Providence. They've got the property and they're looking for assistance to get rid of this stuff. And if you don't, anybody can sue anybody. I could sue you if I wanted to. For what reason? I don't know, but if I felt like I wanted to sue you, I could do that.
Sounds like one of those nuisance things.
So we all, everybody on this board agreed, hey, get rid of this thing. We don't want it. Hey, you folks don't want it either. So it was approved.
But
And went
Providence knew about this coming in, didn't they?
They did, yep. And
So-
that would all end up in a court.
Let the buyer beware.
And depending on the judge could, side with Providence.
What was the old Latin word?
You don't know what-
Caveat emptor.
You're right, but you never know what a judge is going to do. Sometimes they don't follow the law, supposedly. At least
What?
the way it's written down. They use their own judgment in making these decisions sometimes. So it might not be a good
You
thing.
mean
for
swayed by a
township.
really good lawyer?
Hey, we dodged. All I can say, we dodged the bullet on that one, folks. It's gone. Okay, right after this, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And one final thing before I leave the township, I want to mention that there's been a relocation of the voting precincts, where you used to go to precinct 2, I believe, at the school. One was at the church, precinct
What
7.
school?
Oxford High School.
Okay.
And that's all changed. There's nothing more at the Oxford High School. There's, I think, voting precinct number 2 will vote at the village office area, and the precinct 7 will vote, I think it's at the church. But check it out for sure. This might be a rumor that I'm throwing in there, but the correct version of the rumor is that you in precinct 2 and you in precinct 7 have now been designated to other physical locations for voting. Okay, check it out. That's posted, I'm pretty sure, in the township and the village as well.
Wouldn't the township send a notification where that precinct is?
Yeah, you should get your, what do they call it, your precinct card?
Yeah.
And that would have it on there. If you don't can't have that, and you might be absentee ballot, too. That's something to look at.
That could be affected, yeah.
And I think more and more people are using absentee ballot. And you people that aren't sure where you're supposed to go, you can go to the village township, sign up for absentee ballot. They'll give you one, and all you got to do is turn it in either at the village or at the township.
Here's a question.
Yes,
When you go in and vote, you fill out a paper ballot,
you do.
which is sucked into a machine.
Yes,
And
a little
it will,
sucker.
And it will stay there if it was done correctly and get spit back out if it,
It
wasn't.
does, yes.
What's the equivalent with an absentee ballot?
Absentee ballot, excuse me, they have two people that have to decide what your intentions were if it's not completed. And one has to be a Democrat, the other one has to be a Republican. And
Now-
sit down, they analyze it.
But is
and
your
if they can't
absentee
be-
ballots initially put into the machine?
It will be, eventually.
No, but I mean, is it
Yeah,
put
if
into the
it-
machine and then if it gets
it kicks out,
rejected,
yes.
then these two people have to make a decision?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's the way it works. A lot of times your ballot might be invalid by the sheer nature of what you decide to put down there.
But it's a Republican and a Democrat. What if there's a third party? Would there be three people?
If it's a major party recognized by the state and federal government, yes, but it's got to be recognized first
Recognized as a major party or
Yeah,
recognized as a party?
as a governing body, as a majority body of the voters in the country. You can't just, for example, start your own party and say, we're going to have Dave Kenny and Elgin Nichols, going to be the new party. And we have 3 people.
No, but I know that, but I mean, there must be some measure of significance, and I don't know what that is.
It's called people, lots of people.
Lots of people, but there has to be a line that you have to cross, and then you become an official party.
Tell me more. You got more? Or
Oh,
more?
no, you know all about this stuff.
Okay. Well, I just want to hear what you got to say about it.
Well,
Well-
maybe. Well, how do they do it in England? They actually have the party itself determines who their candidates will be. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They actually do job interviews.
Well, you know what? I draw the line at the border.
What border is that?
The United States border. I don't want to go to England and figure out how in the heck they do things over there. They have their own problems if you've been watching TV lately. Right? So
Yeah.
anyway, so it's not a perfect system.
Well, it's interesting though to see how it works when,
Mm-hmm.
and there might be a lot of people that don't know, for instance, how their absentee ballot is handled.
Yep. If it's rejected, it's reviewed, and the decision is made at that time. For example, if you're in a voting booth and you put your ballot in and it rejects it, you have an opportunity. First of all, the
correct
person
it.
at the board would be myself as chairman. I would go forward and I say, do you need help over here? And they say either yay or nay. If they say nay, then they got to go back and figure out what they did wrong. If they say yay,
So-
I can look at it and
So
see.
you mistakenly go in for this close-in election, and you vote for a Republican and a Democrat.
Can't.
You can't, I know
No.
that, and it will kick out.
Right.
Then can you redo it?
Yes, and what it'll do is it'll be a what they call a failed ballot, and you'll be issued a new ballot. That one would be void, so you'll lose that ballot. They give you a new one.
Good.
You just go in and change it.
Which is when you go in to vote and it gets rejected by the
Yep,
machine.
Right.
What if that same situation exists for a absentee ballot?
If that happens, the other thing that happens with that, if it's rejected, as I said, it has to be reviewed by a Democrat and Republican.
Right.
And try to determine what the person was thinking when they were doing it.
But if you voted for both sides of the fence, what happens?
If it can't, you can't. I mean, it's dead.
Well, I know that,
Yeah, they cannot count.
but the
be
person
void.
never gets an opportunity to vote again.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're stupid, folks. Wait,
Well,
you gotta put some
Just-
common sense into
just
this
so
when
no
you're
one
voting.
gets surprised.
Yeah, right, nobody would be surprised. You would be the only surprised person if you don't know what you're doing in there.
Well, right.
Right.
But in one situation, you have the ability to make a correction if you go in and vote.
Mm-hmm.
If you screw it up on your absentee ballot, you'll never
Right.
know what happened.
Right. And we do walk people through this, so if you have issues,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the ballot box.
Yeah.
And trained very well to take care of this. So anyway, if you want to use the absentee ballot, there's more and more people that are using absentees. I use it myself because I'm usually at the elections, of course. So you'll find it so easy. You can hold this until before the election and make your decision then, so you can see who you'd like to vote for at that time. Take a little more time. You can discuss it with your relatives if you want to,
That's
that kind of
true.
thing. So,
There's going to be a lot of debating up to that point.
right, there could be a lot of debating. It's debatable.
Oh, yes.
And speaking about debatable, what do you got coming up, bud?
I have one thing. On 1/27 at 7 p.m., the Village of Oxford Council will have a special meeting. I think there's 3 items on the agenda that they want to cover.
Special on special.
That's right.
It's good. Good stuff, special
Blue Light
stuff.
Special.
We like special a lot. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.
We here at OCTV cover the local events and government meetings of Oxford, Addison, and Leonard. We also produce and edit programs for you viewers out there. With the leadership of our station manager, Bill Service, we have been a very successful team, winning awards from the state of Michigan for Best Electronic Media, giving attention to our local veterans. We also won awards for excellence in directing and educational programs. With the help of our great new equipment and our technical directors, we write, produce, and broadcast our local news for you. Without our production manager, Terry Stiles, our channel and station wouldn't be the well-oiled machine it is today. She coordinates the editing assignments and shoot schedule with our editors and camera people. OCTV and its communities make a great team.